Hi, my name is Bielanski, and I wanted to take a few minutes to tell you about my everyday scholarly hero. His name is Jerry, and I met him very early on in my career. His help to me and to other people is so extraordinary, and the way he did it without even really letting us know that he was doing it. Clearly, Jerry is one of my mentors, and without him, I wouldn't be where I am today. Jerry's a man of great character, a person who really knows the difference between right and wrong, and wants to help young journalists, which is the career I've chose to be in, help young journalists along the way, show them the ropes, maybe help them not make the same mistakes that he made along the way. And really a fantastic teacher, and that's really what I have found to be best about Jerry. Jerry's success is really hard not to be proud of if you're a friend of his and to see his path. He's a multiple award winner in his field of journalism. He's also had great success in the last few years overcoming a stroke, which hit him at a young age for people who have strokes. And he has overcome that stroke. He has come back to continue working. Now he's left the journalism world, and he's kind of turned himself over to the dark side of public relations. But he's continued his public relations work, and it has done so with great honor, great dignity, considering the fact that he's had the stroke and the slight limitations that has left him with, although he's recovered very nicely from that. He's also been able to get himself back on the golf course, which was very important to him. A big part of his life before the stroke, he's back on the golf course doing that. Jerry's contributions to society are I wouldn't say innumerable, but significant. He had done some wonderful work as a journalist, and some of the public awareness and advocacy type journalism that he had done. He did when I met him, Jerry was working in an investigative reporting unit as a producer, and that unit would take and investigate people's problems or political corruption possibly, or possibly working with different watchdog groups and that kind of thing. And he worked tirelessly with that, and to this day is something he continues to work on, and he is just such a good storyteller, and also very good at getting behind the real truth of what's going on. And that's something that takes a lot of patience, a lot of diligence, and just really the desire to help people out. And I'm so proud of him for that, and proud to have followed in his footsteps to do some of the same things. As an inspiration, I didn't know it when I met him, didn't realize it at the time. But I was very young in my career, and I thought I knew everything, and had those types of experiences, and really was at a point where I was butting heads with a lot of my older colleagues. It's tough to be a producer, a young producer, where you're responsible for a show, but a lot of the people who are working on that show are so much older than you, with so much more experience, and there's always that kind of generational tension there. He was great at pulling me aside and giving me a little kick in the pants to explain to me how to get through that and how to gain these people's respect. And that inspiration it was so important to me at the time. That valuable information was so important to me at the time. And I didn't really understand it then. I kind of understood it, but then I really learned to understand it in the following 20 years of my career. And what it had such an effect on me that today in my career, I try to do the same thing for young journalists. I try to identify the ones with really great potential who may need a little mentoring, who may need that little kick in the pants. And if they'll take it, I try to do the same type of mentoring that Jerry had done for me. Now, as far as my scholarly career and where I'm going with things, it's very important to me. I was in school back in the late 1980s, early 1990s, dropped out of school to start my career, or to continue my career, because I actually started my career while I was in school. Had a job opportunity to leave Winona and go to Green Bay, and took it, and because I felt that I could always go back to school. And from Green Bay I went on to work in Milwaukee and then Minneapolis, and from Minneapolis I went to CNN in Atlanta, and from there to CBS in New York, and now I'm out in California continuing my career out here in Los Angeles area. And so my scholarly career has been a little bit different probably than most, and now I'm back trying to finish my career. And that's happening for two reasons. One, because when I dropped out of school back in 1992 or 3 or whatever it was, I made a promise to my mother that before she passed, I'd get back to school and finish it up. Thankfully, she's nowhere near passing, but this was the right time in my life to go back and do it. And so I'm continuing on and finishing my career now. What's also really interesting from the family standpoint of my scholarly career is that at my age now, I have a young 8-year-old daughter, and she sees me doing my homework and knows that I got to do my homework too, and it's a great great opportunity to kind of do some positive reinforcement when your parent is in school at the same time you are. So I really felt that was I feel that that's a really important bond that I have with my daughter, and I find that to be very fun, interesting, and hopefully helpful to her as well. As far as my current status, I'm probably about a year away from finishing my degree. I can't take full-time classes because I have a family and I'm working full-time, actually working full-time plus another job. And so taking a full amount of classes, a full load of classes just isn't possible. So I've been taking about 2 classes per semester. And I think that I'm hoping that by fall of next year, or spring of I guess it would be 2015, I'll be able to finish my career. As far as my career goes, my return to school and what I'm doing in my scholarly career has taken a little turn for me. After 20 years as a journalist, I really had no reason to go back and get a journalism degree, so I decided to go and see where I could go and take classes and expand my knowledge base to help me in my career, but not necessarily in the journalism part of my career. So most of my work has been, back in school, most of my work has been in the business side of things. They don't teach you very much about the communications business when you're in a journalism track. They teach you how to write, they teach you how to edit, they teach you how to take pretty pictures, all things that are very important, the nuts and bolts of doing the job. But at a certain time in your career and you want to advance, that is often necessary to take your career up to the management level, and those are things they just don't teach you in those early classes if you're just taking journalism school. So I've gone back, and most of my emphasis has been in the management and business side of things, with a few art things in there and music things, because that's kind of what I enjoy to do. I feel that especially as a journalist, we have a keen understanding of the multicultural aspect of this world. We're covering different things about the races and race relations, and it's a pretty powerful storyline that has been something I've covered for the entire 20+ years of my career. So learning about that early in school and understanding the differences in the cultures, and the fact that I have had to deal with different cultures, not just black and white in this country, but I deal with Latinos and Muslims and people of Far Eastern descent, and it's really helped me to be understanding and open my eyes and listen, and listening is so important, and that's one of the things that I have found has helped me so much. My journalistic journey, or my scholarly journey, has had some really interesting effects. I mean, there are some that are obvious, social and financial. With being more educated, I'm able to feel more comfortable in lots of different social settings. Obviously, there are financial rewards that come with being more educated, which I'm happy to hopefully reap when I get done with this process. But my family has been interesting. I talked a little bit about the dynamic with me and my daughter, but I have found it interesting that there's some jealousy maybe, or between members of my family who don't have a college education, myself, and and sometimes they look at me like I'm being a little better than them, or I'm acting a little better than them, or I feel I'm a little better than them, although that's not the case because of my what I've done in school. And I find that I was surprised by that, and have had a hard time dealing with that. So I mean, that's just part of the things that I've had to deal with over time, and part of my scholarly journey into being a scholarly person. And I really have learned a lot through the process, and continue to learn a lot through the process, and hope that I will have a good opportunity to continue that even when I'm done with my classes here at Winona State University.